Autism In The D started with my first. It was really during that height of COVID. Michael was diagnosed right before his third birthday. So it was right after the height of COVID. My mom couldn't help me be a mom, and not like shade to her, but you can't help parent a neurodivergent child from a neurotypical perspective. So I was lost. You in the house all day during COVID, you don't gonna like talk to my friends were not able to relate to me because they were raising typical children. So it was just completely different for me. I literally made a post and I was like, all right, if you have a special needs child and you want to vent, let's go meet up here. And that's how it started, because I didn't have a safe space. I was tired of asking questions and nobody had answers.
Working professionals, creators, entrepreneurs, I need y'all to tap in. Listen, if you're tired of fighting distractions at home or bouncing around from coffee shop to coffee shop, then Bamboo has exactly what you need to be able to lock in and get your work done. In addition to having flexible meeting rooms and event space, they've got a community that actually supports you while you're in the building. So if you're ready to lock in some space right now, guess what? I got you. If you head over to bamboocowork.com right now and use the promo code BlackFriday20, you'll get 20% off any of your rental bookings. Don't waste any more time. Head over to bamboocowork.com and take care of that. Use that promo code. I'll be seeing you at a Bamboo location sometime soon. Now, let's go ahead and get back into the episode.
What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones, and we keep this thing going. Now that we got that business out of the way, I got someone in the building today who is hoping to make not only our young people's lives a lot better, but people who are people who are on the spectrum lives a lot better. Miss Tiera Moultrie, how you doing today?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me in the space.
Absolutely. Thank you for stopping by the podcast. And in order to ground the conversation, I first have to ask you, what exactly is, for people who may not have a full understanding, especially like folks in our community sometimes don't, can you ground us as to how do you define autism and what does that look like?
I love it. I love being able to define autism for people, because when they don't know, it's just ignorance and it all just needs redirection. Autism to me is a social disorder. It comes with a series of different, not side effects, but if you've seen one case of autism, you've seen one case of autism. It all looks so different. But to me, it's all social. It's not, people think, oh, they don't look autistic. Oh, but they're so smart. They're usually smarter than you in the room. They just have different things that they need help with. Like my oldest son, he is considered level 3, where he requires more support. Where my middle son, he is considered level 1, and he is more verbal and more conversational. So it's a wide spectrum indeed, but to me, it's all a social disorder. A social order that we just flow through and range through. And the work that I do, working in ABA and working with kids, that helps them create better lifestyles.
Got you. And so your work started, or your experience with the having children on the spectrum started with your first child. You have 3, and then 2 are on the spectrum. So could you talk about what was that day like when you started to notice what those signs were and then actually learn as to what was going on with your child?
For my oldest, his name is Michael, and I think that I kind of already had a feeling that something was just different. And it's not like it being a first-time mom, you don't know. Like, you don't know what's quote-unquote normal or what's not normal. So it was me noticing the lack of speech really was that first thing. And then there was some regression with his speech. He had words and then they kind of regressed and went away as he grew older. And from there, I went to go asking questions. Doctors weren't making the recommendations for me. I was going to ask the questions like, okay, let's put him in the speech. Let's get his hearing tested. Is he ignoring me on purpose, or can he not hear? You know, what tests need to be done? And I'm still in that process with my oldest son. The more I know and work in the field and grow as a mother, I'm learning different things. Like we're currently knocking on U of M Ann Arbor's door trying to get some help, because my job as their mother is to make sure I'm doing everything I can for them. So I'm constantly advocating for them.
Absolutely. And then as far as once you had your second child, were you able to notice the signs sooner, or did you know immediately, or it took longer to figure
No,
out?
it's so crazy. Because with my second, because he is so much considered high functioning, I didn't know if it was a lot of learned behavior because it was also at the height of COVID. You know, we're in the house, you're with your brother all day. Are you picking up these things? So his diagnosis was kind of delayed because I wasn't sure. And not to a point where I was in denial. I just didn't want to go ahead and put a label on him if that wasn't necessary. But there were things that came out that were like, all right, you go ahead and get your evaluation too, buddy, because let's go ahead and get the resources so we can get the preventative care that's needed.
Mm-hmm. And once you understood that you had two kids that were on the spectrum, when did you decide to start to dive into the work and develop Autism in the D?
Autism in the D started with my first. It was really during that height of COVID. Michael was diagnosed right before his third birthday. So it was right after the height of COVID. My mom couldn't help me be a mom, and not like shade to her, but you can't help parent a neurodivergent child from a neurotypical perspective. So I was lost. You in the house all day during COVID, you know, gonna like talk to my friends were not able to relate to me because they were raising not neurotypical children. So it was just completely different for me. I literally made a post and I was like, all right, if you have a special needs child and you want to vent, let's go meet up here. And that's how it started, because I didn't have a safe space. I was tired of asking questions and nobody had answers. There was no advice. The resources were scarce. And I love to see the growth that the world has shifted in. April starts tomorrow, and I'm already seeing posts left and right about all these coming events, and it wasn't like that several years ago.
Mm-hmm. And it's been 6 years?
Yeah, yep. Michael is 9. It's been 6 years. And so what happened was that first year, or maybe like the year after COVID, we were still on lockdown. They canceled the autism walk. And that's kind of where we got started with the walk purpose, because we were still going to walk for my boy. We literally met at his grandma's house. We called a few family members over and we walked up the street and walked back. And then the next year we just continued to grow because I realized that we had to continue to grow this awareness and acceptance. And we started with just those few family and friends and have grown to reach over 1,200 attendees. So just trying to advocate.
Of course. Of course. Sound like you doing it.
Yeah. I'm walking in favor and faith.
Absolutely. And when you started this journey, you had put out that post to basically tell people, hey, if you want to vent, I'm here. Let's connect. Let's build community. What was the reception like, and how did that community start to come together?
We had about several parents show up with it. We met at Jungle Jabba. And it was still COVID, so some kids had on masks, some didn't. And we were able to talk about different resources, and we still continue those monthly parent and play meetups. And everyone who sits on our nonprofit board is a member from our parent and play meetups.
Dope.
They're all autism moms. They have formed their own connections within the group. I love our regulars who come because they become family. We go to each other's birthday parties. You know, we have grown that village that we were looking for and lacking.
Absolutely. And I got a ton more questions about you and Autism in the D. But before we get into that, I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Ooh.
So whenever you're ready, you can start rapping.
Oh, okay, hold on. Give me a beat. Okay. Hey. They call me T-Lab. That's what they use me by. I stay mighty fly. And I like to get high. Because I got to stay sane. Running the world. It's all on my shoulders. I can't rhyme no more.
Shout out to you.
That was fun.
But I got to give you some.
I'm screaming.
First of all, we appreciate you for actually rapping.
Of course.
But of course, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions too, if that's cool.
Okay.
All right. So Autism in the D. So from Detroit. Tell me, who are your 5 favorite Detroiters that cannot be related to you?
It's funny because I was born in San Francisco, so that's not. Nobody's related to me here but my mommy. Dang, I can't shout her out because she the GOAT. 5 Detroiters. Ask Jen. Jazz from Brooklyn Body Butter. Mary Sheffield. Big Sean. One more. Who am I going to give it to? Who else is a change maker that I can't? 5 is hard. What am I going to give 4? I could definitely give it to. I'm about to give it to Aisha, my PR, who has held me down. I'm public relations. She has held us down for the past 3 years. And she stays rocking with us, and she makes things. I just show up. She just makes it so easy.
For sure. And shout out to Aisha.
Yes.
So 3 of the 5 people that you named have been on the podcast or are affiliated with the podcast. So. Yeah. And then we're going to work on Big Sean, too.
Okay, because he's going to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
I have given him, they were doing a gas giveaway earlier this year, him and that guy who's always giving away money.
Oh, yeah.
Him and that guy. And I surely handed my information to him and his mama, like, here, we're trying to open this up because they've shouted us out there. A nonprofit has shouted us out a couple years ago. So I'm like, let's keep that connected. So if you're listening, hey.
Yeah. Big Sean, tap in. Need them coins.
Okay.
And you say you were born in San Francisco, so when did your Detroit journey start?
My mom moved us here when I was 3.
Okay.
All of my relatives are in San Francisco, mainly in SoCal. I do have a grandma. She is in Northern Cal. But my mama's for sure a Compton baby, and we're here. She wanted to be around the people. Honestly, she said she came to visit Detroit, and she fell in love with all the Black people, coming from California.
Yeah.
Where there's so many, it's mixed and it's a lot of Spanish. She came for the culture and the people, and she never looked back.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go back and visit a lot?
Not as much as I used to. It's hard with kids. A flight to California for all of us. The last time we went as a family, I think, was 2022 or 2021. And I haven't been back in a while either. With the world the way it is right now, my family they loved me, and they love me from afar, and I love them back.
That's what's up. So I got to ask you, in terms of your boys, what's one thing that comes to mind that they have taught you throughout this journey?
Patience. I have so much patience. I look at adults crazy for lacking patience, especially with children. I just get so confused because why do you expect a child to have patience? You're the adult. You're the one who's supposed to figure out. You have to figure out how to calm yourself down and give them that space and grace. So they've taught me how to give grace to myself as well to others, and patience.
And if you had to explain, so you explained autism to us earlier, your definition, but if you had to explain to somebody who never heard of it before, or someone who doesn't fully understand it, how would you give it a superpower?
They see things we don't see. I once saw a video of somebody demonstrating what a visual stimmer was looking like. And it's like, for us, we're just playing with our hands. But no, from their perspective, they were tracing the outlines of the shadows on the ceiling. So they just see things from a different perspective. There are so many think pieces of what spiritual people think when it comes to autism and how they're these gifted children and they've been here before and they're being reborn. I believe a lot of that. My oldest may be non-conversational, but he's very much an empath. He's very much big on energy. I trust him. He does not communicate always verbally, but he definitely gets his point across.
For sure. Is he like the ultimate big brother to his other sibling?
You know what? It's funny. My middle son is the big brother.
Okay.
He is very much like, come on, Michael. Come on, Miara. He is growing into this big brother role. And I love it. And at the same time, I have to be very mindful that he's not the big brother. I hear from a lot of autism siblings, they had a lot to do responsibility-wise. I never want him to feel that way, but he naturally does it. He's just a little leader. He's a Taurus, so he's bossy.
Yep. That's how I go.
Exactly. But he does it so well. He means so well. He's such a sweet little boy.
That's what's up.
He has ADHD too, so he's always bouncing off the wall.
So help enlighten me in terms of that. So is ADHD a part of the spectrum of autism, or is it completely separate?
So it is on the spectrum of neurodiversity.
Okay.
ADHD is an additional, it would be a co-diagnosis. And most people don't realize that autism usually come with co-diagnosis, whether it's ADHD. There's pandas, there's so many different things besides what the underlying issue is. And doctors don't do enough, I think, of educating parents to say, let's go and get these tests to see if there's anything done. We just had our Zoom last week with U of M to get genome tests because let's figure out. Let's do a scope. Let's figure out to see what we can do because they're never going to come out and say, hey, X, Y, and Z causes autism because it's making too much money now.
Yeah.
It's making too much money, so they're not going to give us a cure. And I believe it all ties into the gut health, but the environmental world that we live in affects our gut too.
Yeah.
Like we have plastic in our brains. We have plastic in our skin from clothing, from the things we cook. It all alters our DNA. So I can spin a tangent on that.
For sure. And I'm going to see if I can tap into that tangent a little bit real quick. But before I forget, I'm going to wrap up Freestyle Fridays. Thanks for actually giving us a freestyle.
No problem.
And then answering the rapid fire questions as well. All right, so now back to business. From your studies and your education on it, and then you also, I know you work in it on a day-to-day, what are the I guess, is there a clear-cut way that autism develops, or is there a something that is, what, I'm losing my words, but I'm trying to figure out, is there a strong correlation with something that causes autism, whether it be genetics or anything else?
Not technically. You know, that man sent that other man on the TV one point last year to tell everybody X, Y, and Z causes autism.
Yeah. Didn't they tell us to drink bleach too?
You know, they just go on the TV saying anything. But to me, and it's regardless of autism, gut health is mental health.
Yeah.
So if your gut health is not regulated or not where it needs to be, then that's affecting your mental. And the food is poisoning us. The organic food is poisoning us. It doesn't matter unless we're growing our own food and then we use the water. The water is poisoning us. None of it matters when it's all FDA controls everything.
Yeah.
And they get to say yes or no to things. They just did get rid of red dye. Good job, because that's linked to a lot. But there's so many other things. Why are certain ingredients approved here but not in any other country? You know, because FDA runs the world. They are the top. People think it's the government. I think it's the FDA because it all trickles down from what we eat. Everybody has to eat daily, but there's people starving. I don't want to get on the tangent.
No, I'm with you. I'm following you. When you say they got rid of red dye, I'm like, what they gonna go do? They might go out of business.
It's gonna change it to something else. And it's like they have alternatives.
Yeah.
They have alternatives. Everything doesn't have to be poisonous, but they choose to poison us because they make money when they poison us.
So speaking of, in terms of, I would love to get your perspective on the stigma around autism and neurodiversity in the Black community, because I always think about family members growing up that were older than me. And one particular family member that comes to mind, and like, I always knew that they were different, never knew like what it was. And nobody talked about what their circumstance was or like kind of how they operated or whatever. They just like, oh, that's so-and-so. And that they just do them. And like, it was almost kind of, I don't want to say ignore it, because clearly they figured out a way to care for that person and navigate that person. But it wasn't something that was like brought up often. Even the fact that, because I'm like, I know as a kid, I'm like, I know something is different.
Mental health in the Black community. It's mental health in the Black community. We're just starting to have these conversations. Like, I look back, and God, thank you for the growth, because, you know, I call myself being suicidal in high school, taking some Tylenol pills. But back then, my mama could only call 1 to 2 people to be like, hey, what do I do in this situation? Because the embarrassment, because it's not talked about.
Right.
And I was never sent to therapy. Like, but my sister, who was 10 years younger than me, didn't go through a similar situation, but went through a situation where she needed therapy, and my mom put her into therapy. So, you know, it takes the learning and the education and us to continue having these conversations to make awareness and acceptance. And when it comes to autism, a lot of parents, I find, are in denial and embarrassment and don't want to find the answers because they feel like it's a blame thing. And I hate that, because it's nobody's fault.
Yeah.
It's nobody's fault. Your assignment is yours. It's nobody else's fault. I'm a firm believer in what's for you is for you. It's never going to miss you. And okay, I'm sorry, we can't sign our kids up for the regular sports stuff. It's all right. We can sign them up for other things. Like, flip the perspective and find the glass half full. I always try to tell my parents that, because, you know, autism parents carry high cortisol levels compared to combat soldiers. Super stressed, super in fight or flight all the time, and I refuse to live like that. It's too much going on in the world. If I say that God covers my kids, they cover. I can't worry. I could worry about my bills. I'm like, all right, God, No, I'm not going to worry about my kids ever because one of them can't tell me what's going on.
Mm.
So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to trust that my God is covering him. I don't even remember the original question.
No.
See, then my letters get to showing, and it's like, I feel like I have underdiagnosed ADHD because then Black women go underdiagnosed way more statistically compared to boys.
Mm.
And we look at, things that look at aggression versus anxiety.
Mm.
And my sister, growing up, knowing what I know now, I looked back recently and I had to tell her, dealing with my son who has ADHD and me not knowing her ADHD, to look back and say, hey, I am sorry for the way I treated you because you had a lot of big emotions and I just thought you were just dramatic.
Mm.
And you weren't. You really couldn't control it. So just learning to do better, I think the more we have these conversations, the more people are going to know about it.
Yeah. And speaking of the undiagnosed piece, I was wondering if, I feel like maybe around like the pandemic, maybe a little bit before, you started to see a trend in people. I mean, some people self-diagnosing themselves, but in terms of it being less of a stigma, people talking about it more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if from the research that you've done or have heard or come across, has that been an issue in terms of people going undiagnosed in our community in particular? And has there been a rise of people getting diagnosed because it's being done properly now?
Yes. People always ask me, like, why do you think the autism rates are rising? Da, 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 da. Diagnoses are easier to access.
Mm-hmm.
We have more diagnosticians. That one always trips me up. And the resources are more readily available. When my oldest son was diagnosed, I believe the statistics were 1 in 59. They're 1 in 31 today.
Mm-hmm.
They are 1 in 31, and that's because advances have happened. People thought it was like a COVID outbreak, like, oh, all the kids are COVID kids and they have autism. Many things can be true at the same time type of thing.
Yeah.
And maybe not just this case of kids. Maybe the previous generation was just ignored, like you said, and scooped under the rug. And we always had this bad stigma of the special needs classroom, and now we're filling them up. And now we have to talk about it.
Yeah. And so, all right, let me ask this because I need to ask you some like business questions as well, but I'm loving this conversation so far. So how do you feel the educational systems are faring in terms of being able to support students who may be
Don't
neurodiverse?
piss me off. Listen, DPS, a few years ago, I owned the land bank house. On the land bank home, free and clear. Sold that house to get my baby out of DPS. Left my home that I owned free and clear to get out of Detroit public school system because they are doing a under disservice to these children, and it's ridiculous. They have put new things in place. They've moved people around. But at the end of the day, they do not have the proper staff and training to serve these children. And somebody told me I need to start knocking on Wayne Ressa's door because they're the ones who control what the state allows and funds. So that's whose doors I'm about to start knocking on next because these schools are doing a disservice. The IEP language is disrespectful. It's lazy. It's copying and pasting. It's distasteful. It literally breaks my heart reading IEPs from Detroit.
And can you break down what IEPs are?
Sure. IEP is an individual education plan. Ooh, and let me tell you what I've learned about IEPs at work.
Talk to it.
So IEP, state-funded legal document that says, hey, we're going to provide OT, speech, whatever. If they need assistance in classroom, that's what the IEP is for. It's an individual learning plan, and that could go for any child. My goddaughter has an IEP because she has an autoimmune disease. Okay. So, like, nothing intellectual. It's not always educational purposes.
Probably
whatever,
like certain situations.
Yes, whatever is needed. It's case by case. And that is the outline that is the state legal binding document that says I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for this student and I'm going to provide these things. And then they don't. And so then they don't provide these things, but that school now has the funding because they have the IEP. So now I have this additional funding for the child. You already get funding when the child comes to the state school.
Yeah.
Now you get additional funding on this IEP. Don't have the IEP with the state funding and have state-funded insurance. You can't do two things at one time. Because if you have state-funded insurance and God forbid you want to send your child to school and ABA because that's what the doctors tell you to do. That's recommended. The school is telling you, hey, send your child to ABA because we can't handle their behaviors. Then you get to the ABA provider and you say, oh, I have state-funded insurance and I have IEP. And now the school's not going to release the IEP so you can get your ABA services. And it's a cycle. And it's not fair that people are not fully explaining these things to parents. It's not fair. They're doing a disservice to these parents. It is so daunting when I get calls from parents and they're like, oh, I'll just get the IEP revoked. I'll just get the hours reduced and I'll just do the, but the school's like, no, we're not going to release that. It took me, I don't know how many emails to get my son's IEP revoked out of DPS because I was not playing with them, but it shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to work a chain of command. If I need something adjusted to better suit the life of my child, I should be able to do that. But they make people jump through hoops to get this funding, and it's ridiculous. The schools are a disservice. Insurance is insurance. So insurance is what it is, but the schools need to do better. I don't know. Back to the drawing board, figure it out because it's not enough and the rates are rising, and what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Pay people better so they can come to work. Figure out a program with Michigan State. Figure out a program with U of M. Figure out a program with Wayne State where they have these BCABA programs. Get these people to train. Do something because you need help. The school district that my kids are in, top tier. They have SLP, OT, social work, BCBA. Everybody can't sell their house and move to another district and do that. Right. And that's where the disservice is.
Facts. Very, very enlightening, and appreciate you for being able to expose us to that piece of it, because I don't know the intricacies of how it works in terms of IEPs and being able to provide those specialized services for students, but I already know how the government and school systems work, especially in tandem, and it ain't conducive to progress and productivity all the time. So I could only imagine. And so I feel like what you've been able to develop with Autism in the D is becoming a solution to be able to supplement those shortcomings of our educational system. So because I got so excited and we jumped right into the convo, can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you provide through Autism in the D, the different, if there are services, but I know particularly you hold very intentional curated events for people and young people of this community.
Yes. So definitely we do events. That's where we started off as. We do our parent and play meetups. We try to do those monthly. We do a moms only event every May because mamas are usually taking the charge and are usually primary parents. So we try to dedicate May strictly to the moms. But throughout the year, we do our events. We have our 6th annual Autism Awareness Walk. I can't wait. It's going to be April 12th. It's going to be bigger and better. It grows bigger and better beyond my thought process every year. And I'm always grateful for the community because I literally don't do anything. I post a flyer and the community shows up. People always ask, like, what's my marketing? I don't have a marketing. The community does the work because we need it. Like, I'm not just fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for everybody's kids. So we do that. We do our, and then online on our website, we have free resources. I'm currently updating our resource guide. So if anybody has something, feel free, drop an email, check us out. I'm always updating resources, whether it's diagnosis places that I'm finding out recently in my current role, because we don't offer evening hours at where I work. So I'm building up a list of places that offer evening hours so people who can't get their IEP revoked can have an option to send their child to ABA after school because the hours won't conflict. Beating the system at their game. Just building up those different resources. So doctors, haircuts, those are hard to come by for children on the spectrum. It's very sensory abrasive. So we're building up that repertoire of different hairstylists who can work with these babies. And the list is on, but just building up this community guide and this resource guide so that people don't have to search far. There's lists on there for days. There's a free RBT course, and that is a registered behavior technician. Those are the techs who work with children in the applied behavior analysis therapy. That's what I am. I'm an RBT as well, and I literally took an RBT class to better help my child. So they have a free one online. I think it's very helpful for parents to get that background.
And you're in the process of doing something innovative when it comes to providing a sensory gym or the first sensory gym in the Metro Detroit area. So please talk to us about that journey and when did that first come into your mind?
A few years ago at this point, because time is so fake. Wow. A few years ago, I ran across the opening of a sensory gym. It was in Ohio. And I was like, oh, we need that here. We don't have any place here. And I'm definitely a frequenter of Kid Cadia. That's like a local play place in Dearborn. of like the local jump places, but there wasn't a space for us. And then when I started the parent and play meetups, I was like, oh, we really don't have a safe space. Like, we can't meet up with 10 of us and 10 of our autistic kids and be like, we're here. And to me, places that offer sensory hours are not inclusive, because what if I can't make it in that time frame? Like, that's just not inclusive. So we needed a safe space. So we literally, God said, I'm just being obedient. I'm telling people. People ask me how I do it. I'm be obedient. I don't drink coffee. I be obedient. No. But we're opening up the city of Detroit, because not Metro Detroit. That's the big difference.
Say it one more time.
The city of Detroit. We are not Metro Detroit. Diligently looking for a building in the city of Detroit as we open up this safe space, this community center that's going to house this sensory gym. We're going to have so many things. I cannot wait until this space is open. Like, my boys don't even realize what I'm doing for them. And once they realize, hey, we could come here every day.
It's a wrap.
I'm going to get all the cool points. I mean, they love me anyway, but still. We're going to have the option for respite care. We plan to offer these inclusive camps, because there's currently not any camps I can take my children to. And I'm going to be like, all right, you're safe. Not within the city of Detroit. There are some in the burbs, but everybody can't get to the burbs. So we plan to offer things like that. We also plan to offer, once we are open and set up, that'll be the home for our walk. We'll have our annual walk there. But on April 11th, we'll be showcasing what we plan to offer once this space is open. And I didn't even name drop, because I'm learning. The name came to me 3 years late. Okay, because I said, all right, God, I'm starting to realize we don't have a name. People were asking me, and I was like, it's not called Autism In The D. But we will be opening Inscape, which is an exclusive escape. And that is we're going to showcase that, where we're going to have like swing area. We plan to do a play area, but we're also playing on the senses. So it's like a full sensory experience. But we wanted to just do something for the community, because we have been fundraising for 3 years, and because I would be impatient, like, girl, I've given you my money. Where are the doors opening? So this is just our little give back to the community. It's a donation-based entry, and we plan to play on every sense: sight, smell, taste. We have a silent DJ. We have a blackout tent for the sight area. We have aromatherapy for scent. And we have some things cooking up for the taste. And, of course, for that touch, we're going to have that full sensory play area that we're going to have set up. So it's going to be super cool.
And you already have a location? Like, this is...
For the event, yes. Not for the Inscape once we open.
Gotcha.
The event is going to be at Chandler Park Fieldhouse. Really cool dome. I've never been there. I was driving one day and I was like, oh, we need an event there. I'm always told we need events on the east side. So that is our east side event for my east siders. And then the walk, which is April 12th, is going to be at DMC's Children Brush Mall Park. And that's our second time returning there. We were there last year and we packed it out. And this year we get to go up the street a little further and walk 1.31 miles. So I'm super excited because we get like police barricades and everything. We're having a real walk.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of your entrepreneurship journey with Autism in the D, I'm curious as to, is this your first stint or try at entrepreneurship, or has there been other ventures that you had?
I am my mother's child. My mommy is the founder of Sid Graphics. She is a longtime OG graphic designer in the city.
Yep.
Her mama, because that's not my grandma. Her mama is also an entrepreneur, and my grandpa was an entrepreneur. So literally embedded in me. If people knew me in high school and middle school, they know I was saying I was never working for somebody. Never liked punching a clock. I am actually finally at a job that I like, but that's because it aligns with what I do in my entrepreneurship. I've never liked a job. I used to be a constant job hopper. But prior to Autism in the D, I was T-Styles Graphics. I'm still T-Styles Graphics. My clients know how to find me.
Did you make your merch that you wear?
Yeah, I do all of Autism in the D designs, all of our graphics, all of our web. It's me. It's all me. That's why you asking me earlier. I'm like, it's all me. There is nobody else. And I still do websites. I still do logo designs, but that was like the bread and butter for me for a few years. And then everything with Autism in the D was all organic. That's why I tell people I'm just being obedient. It has all flowed. And for me, it's a great feeling because I thought that I would reach the levels that I'm reaching now with my graphic design business, but that wasn't aligned. I was supposed to be a graphic designer so I could learn how to do our own designs type of thing.
Yeah.
So it all worked out, and we did try something else. We were the Venn Bros prior to Autism in the D, because once Michael got his diagnosis, I wanted to promote something that promoted routine. So I was like, we're going to invest in vending machines. Then it was a chain shortage during COVID, and I was like, we're not going to invest in vending machines.
Now ain't no more pennies.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to invest in vending machines. And we tried to do subscription boxes of different sensory things. And I was like, well, none of this is helping me. None of this is helping me. It's not helping my child. And it's essentially how we transitioned to those parent and play meetups that started Autism in the D.
Dope. And how have you been able to leverage your creativity and your previous experience with entrepreneurship to be able to fundraise for Autism in the D? Because people forget, like, that is
I don't have to pay anybody. Okay, I don't have to pay anybody to do designs, to not have to do web designs, to already know. People who are not designers think that they are paying good prices on prints, and I'd be like, y'all are not. Y'all are not. Like, I pay good prices on my printing, and that's something that comes from being a graphic designer. That comes from not just being a regular customer. So I have those different insights. So that helps a lot. But it is completely different coming from a business that has like zero to no overhead to opening a brick and mortar with much overhead, all overhead. So it has been an adjustment. I'm grateful for different things like MBBA when I was in Capital Connect. We've been in a few programs. We've been in the Michigan Women Forwards and Operations program that they were together with Rachel Allen. We've done a lot of programs to help get to where we are today with our like background of the business, because being an entrepreneur is one thing, and I always preach about having your ducks in a row, your LLCs, your entities, and all of that.
Yep.
But brick and mortar is a whole nother ball game that we have been having to learn as we go.
You gotta do your licensing and
permits. A lot of I have a friend. We also received a neighborhood grant from
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And so one of our other awardees in our cohort, he was just our last check, and he was like, it costs money when they keep telling me I can't get my grants approved or my permits approved. And then I recently talked to him, he finally got it approved. So I was like, yes, because I'm not ready to, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not ready. And I have had the experience prior minorly for having a land bank house, because we literally bought my house and had to buy 14 windows. So I've seen from scratch to start. So I'm like positive, it's just like still scary because it's new.
Speaking more business questions for you. So I know that you have a nonprofit arm to Autism in the D, and then Autism in the D is a LLC. Is that correct?
Yes, Autism in the D is the for-profit, and Autism in Detroit is the nonprofit that we just recently instated last year.
And why do both is my question.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not gonna lie. No, people were telling me, they're like, you're fundraising, it's easier for people to write off, but we're actually trying to. I'm trying to step away from the nonprofit side and let my board. I'm learning a lot of people don't tell you a lot about nonprofits. The founder is not supposed to be the executive director. Okay,
we ain't even gotta get in that conversation.
That's a lot on somebody's plate.
Yeah.
So
especially if you got a board.
Okay, so finding the right members for your board is hard. So we're still combing through a lot before we can even figure out how to implement programs. But the plan is to implement programs so that Autism in Detroit covers funding for memberships for Inscape once that's open, and covers different camps that we might offer, and covers different programs that we might have drop in. That is the plan. We're still figuring it out. There's no hand-holding guide to nonprofits. As many nonprofit heads as I know, nobody gives me clear answers. So that means nobody knows what they're doing, and we're all just figuring it out as we go. So that's the nonprofit side.
Okay. What key business lessons have you picked up over the years as you've been continuing to grow and scale this thing?
To trust myself and don't listen to people. I don't know it all, but I am a big believer. I hate when people talk down. Like, I was talking to somebody recently. Like, you're not gonna have that building open. Whoa.
That's crazy.
You don't know my God. Like, you do not know my God. Anytime, even if it's like a mentor or somebody, I will put that in check quick, because don't speak fear over what I got going on.
What's wrong with just saying, hey, how can I help you?
Hello.
How
can I help you? And I'm very big. I've had to learn how to ask for help. I'm very selective of who and how I ask for help, because people like to say they're helpful and they're not. That's what I learned. People just like to chime in.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking to other parents who have children on the spectrum, do you ever feel like or do you all feel like at different points like you're isolated or like on an island and people might not get it, or do you feel differently now that you've connected with more parents?
There's still those moments, like if I'm in a hard spot where I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm researching or how to better help my child. There's random moments, but I will go and drop a question in the Facebook group quick. And if I can't answer it, like if somebody else drops it and I can't answer it, the community answers it. And it's the same. They help me find things. They've helped me build up the new resource guide.
Yeah.
That's all from the community. So it's always helpful to always have that group. And I didn't realize that our group would grow to what it was. We started at 20 people. Now there's 4,000 people in that Facebook group. And there's parents of children who are grown. They're not children anymore. And so they have a different insight and they have a different perspective. And it's all helpful overall. So I love being able to have that outreach for them.
What are some of those resources for parents to be able to leverage, parents and families to leverage in order to be able to get proper support for their family member who may be on the spectrum?
For kiddos who are younger, and I'm 18 and younger, and then I'm going to go 18 and above because it's completely different. 18 and younger, you're covered by insurance. As long as you have that autism diagnosis, you can go and get ABA. You can go and get a referral for speech. You can go and get a referral for SLP. You can go and get a referral for PT. You can go and get all these referrals for therapies. As soon as you hit 18, things shift. Insurance shifts, coverage shifts, medication coverage shifts. And there's so much I don't know because I haven't crossed that line yet where there's so many parents who could chime in for me. There is a place called the Living and Learning Center in Northville. It's owned by a woman named Rochelle. She is a mom just like me who started something just to help her child. And they serve a lot of adults. And I always recommend people go there because I know her personally. I know she has a great heart. And I know the community that they serve because I don't know all the answers. I really try to, but I do not.
What encouraging words would you have for parents with children on the spectrum that are trying to figure it out, navigate it, might not necessarily know about all the insurance stuff and resources and things like that, but they thugging it out right now?
One day at a time. Give yourself some grace. Give your child some grace. Give yourself some patience. Give your child some patience. If their stimming is bothering you, check yourself. Because that's them being them. They can't always. And there's some things that can be altered and shifted. I don't like stopping stems.
And what's a stem for people?
A stem is like a stimulation, a regulation. So it might be hand flapping. It might be an echoic where they're vocally stemming. But whatever they're doing is bringing them some form of regulation. I don't like when people try to stop kids from stemming. There are some stems that can be distracting and that are like so my favorite form of ABA in regard like all points of autism is that when there's a behavior, there's a function of the behavior. So whatever the behavior is, what happened before? That's the function of behavior. Are they doing it for attention? Are they doing it because they want something tangible? Are they doing it because they don't feel good? There is a reason and there's some form of communication. And I wrote a children's book about that because I really do love the functions of it just makes...
I was going to say, you came up with four core functions?
There's four, there's 4 core functions, and that's what they teach us in the ABA field, but those are the usual things that a child is seeking or behaving for. My middle son, he is an attention seeker. He's always doing something. If his brother hurts himself, his brother starts crying. Next thing you know, he'll go and purposely hurt himself and start crying because he needs that attention. Drives me crazy, but I ignore it because I know that's what you're looking for, and I'm not going to feed into it. And a lot of overstimulation from parents, I think, is from the lack of knowing why our child is doing whatever they're doing, and it's frustrating on us because we don't know. And I went to therapy and learned it's okay to say I'm frustrated that my child has autism. I'm frustrated with his autism. That's fair. Because it's frustrating. There is no guide. There is no hand holding. Every case is different.
Is there a way for parents to better tune into like what those stems may be or those things, those triggers for their children?
Watch your child. Watch your child, hone into them, observe them. I think in this busy, fast-paced world, it's hard. And working in the ABA field, I can't stand when workers in the ABA field talk about parents because You don't know what it's like to get off of work and go home and deal with a high aggressive behavior child. You know, your child isn't smearing poop on the wall. Their child is smearing poop on the wall. They are stressed. Help the parent. That's what I'm trying to implement at my current employer. Like, if you don't fill the cup of the parent, we can't help the child. The parents are burnt out. The parents are we drive. My husband picks up the boys. My husband gets off at 2:00. He picks up the boys from school early. They have to be at therapy at 3:30. They're there 3:30 to 6. My oldest goes to therapy. I drop him off way on the other side of town from where I drop my middle son off at school. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's there 8:30 to 3:30. 3:30. We are burnt out. The parents are burnt out, and it's two of us. Imagine the ones who don't have that extra support. Like, the burnout is real, and if you cannot help the parents, you can't help the kids.
Speaking of which, you'd be the perfect person to ask this. People who are part of the village, who you may know, you may have friends who kids are on the spectrum. My godchildren, for me, are on the spectrum. How can the village better support and lean in? Because I know that you said when this all started for you.
Step in, and step up. Don't offer it, show up. People be like, oh, I'll come watch the baby and come help. Well, you know where I live. You got my location. Like, pull up and help me with these kids. Give me a break. And no, I don't want you to clean up or do nothing that I know that I do on the regular. Ask me what's helpful to me. I have learned that a lot of people, again, like to be helpful but aren't helpful. If I'm asking you for a specific piece of help, then that's all I need. I don't need anything else but that help. It is so annoying because, no, I don't keep telling you I need 2 days. I need 2 days. I'm getting these kids for 2 days.
How can parents be better at asking for help? Because you know how we do.
I don't know. I started screaming for help. You get to a point where you get tired of drowning and literally screaming for help, begging for help, because if you don't come help me, I'm going to go get a fuzzy stock stay. And that's just what it is. And putting that embarrassment and any other negative thoughts in regards to autism, you know, it's a lot of people who don't bring their kids around because they feel like their family doesn't accept them. Well, your family just not be educated. Educate them. Show them, you know, your child isn't foreign. They just do things differently. I once read something about a mom. She went to her aunt's house and her aunt had a basket full of fidgets. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's consideration. That's inclusivity. That's thinking and being thoughtful for the next person, because you never know what an overwhelming situation is to a child on the spectrum. The lights might be too bright. The noise might be too loud. They might not like the way the wind blew on their arm. You just never know, and we don't know how much these children are masking when they are out in public.
For sure. So as you continue to develop Autism in the D and then also nonprofit arm, what do you see in the crystal ball? What's on the horizon? What happens in a perfect world moving forward?
In a perfect world. In a perfect world moving forward, we will open up this space by Q3 of this year. We will be able to be functioning and running. We will be able to add things that we want to for phases that we have planned in the next few years. We want to be able to offer ABA. We want to be able to offer speech and OT, whether it's people coming in and renting out different rooms that we offer or whether they're contracted. Detroit Wayne makes it. There are like 2 ABA centers in the city of Detroit, and not even, I don't believe one of them provides in clinic service. I think it's only in home. They make it so hard for centers to open up. Insurance purposes, CMH purposes. There's so many red lines to cross. That's why there's lacking ABA centers in Detroit. And when this space opens in the city of Detroit, it's going to bring a conversation that is needed about the lack of resources. What are y'all doing? Because I shouldn't have to jump through hoops if I'm credentialed enough to open up an ABA center. If I can hire the professionals who are needed to be here, why do I have to jump through so many hoops to serve a community that's clearly undeserved? So it's going to be a start of conversation. And in the future, it's going to look like growth. We're going to have, I want an East Side location once the West Side location is open. And then from there, I'm probably going to fade out and be a real CEO and retire, because I've been working a really long time and I am tired.
Is there a timeline that you got on it, or
From like me being CEO?
Yeah.
No, I'm a textbook Capricorn.
Mm.
So it's really hard for me to step away some things.
You ain't gonna never step away.
Yeah,
You said Capricorn. You ain't
I
gonna...
really am. I'm doing really good at delegating.
Okay,
No, I am
okay.
doing really good at delegating. This is the second year. Shout out to my team, NKSK event. Shout out to the team, my logistics and coordination team for the walk. Because after like the first year when we hit 1,000 attendees, I was like, oh, I can't do this by myself. So learning how to delegate has saved me a lot, but it's still so much on my plate. But I just cannot wait until, I just have my meat, my vegetable, and my other side. And that's it on my plate. I don't need a full plate.
For sure. Not like, people got the family reunions.
Yeah, like I don't need the baby shower powder plate. I don't need the holiday plate. I need the regular Monday through Friday dinner after work plate. That is it.
For sure. So where can the people tap in with you if they want to be able to attend the walk, they want to learn more about resources, or they want to follow the journey? Where can they find you?
All things Autism in the D, autisminthed.com, Autism in the D on Instagram, Autism in the D on Facebook. And if you're looking for the Facebook group on Facebook, you have to search Autism in the D group, because we have a Facebook page and we have a group page. And the group, I promise, because for some reason people keep thinking I'm denying them. As long as you guys answer the questions, you get accepted. It automatically accepts you. We do not deny anybody. Everybody is welcome in the group. And that's how to find me. I recently found I'm a public figure. So don't follow my personal pages. Follow my Autism in the D pages, because I'm still trying to figure out how to separate the personal figure from the human.
And give the information for the April 11th weekend as well, so people can
Weekend of Inclusivity. Join us April 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Chandler Park Fieldhouse, where we will have a donation-based entry of an inclusive event, from sensory swings to aromatherapy to a silent DJ and more. We're also going to have a game truck pull up. It's going to simulate our teen lounge that we plan to offer once we have this space open. And then April 12th, we're going to be 12 to 3 at DMC Children's Hospital, Brush Mall. I just recently, I was saying that wrong recently. Brush Mall. It's going to be, I had to check vendors. We might be over vendors. 40 vendors for autism related, from ABA, different resources, community health.
Dope.
Autism, actual like merch and whatnot. And then we're going to take over that space and we're going to walk. We have double the fun this year. We have 2 bounce houses, because every year I learn something. The people tell me, they say we need more. So we have 2 bounce houses this year for the people. Face painting, sensory tent, fun galore. So yeah, everybody bring the family, bring the friends. And if you don't know anybody who's autistic, you just want to learn more, this is also the time to do that. Come and talk to a family. Come and talk to friends. Ask how you can be a helpful member of this community.
Love it. And I know you always fundraising, so tell the people where they can give you money at.
Autisminthd.com. Autisminthd.com. That is AUTISMINTHED.com. We are always fundraising, not just for the walk. If you go on our website and click the donate tab, you can go ahead and donate. And I will be looking for a Born in Detroit, Black podcast team to be created from this as well. Your walk team, you go ahead and create your walk team.
Okay.
And you fundraise for us. And that's how we continue to do this thing. It's like, the Girl Scouts selling cookies, that's what we fundraising like this year. Okay, bet. We gonna figure something out. For sure. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on the podcast today. I really love the the work that you're doing. As I mentioned, I do have family members, and then also people who are close to me that are on the spectrum or have children that are on the spectrum. So, of course, being able to have any type of resources and or community for those type of people is definitely needed. And then, like I said, in the Black community as well, we need to be able to be more open to having those conversations, and then also, more importantly, open to learning, even if it's not directly impacting you. So love the work that you're doing. Appreciate you for pulling up. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great to be in this space. Thank you so much for, again, having me. Yeah, I'm just grateful.
For sure. For sure. Everybody watching, listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon.
Bye.
Peace.